Hello everybody, welcome to Modok Island. Yeah, something that dropped whilst I was editing and recording. It seems the Marvel Contest Champions news today. It seemed like the Modok's Island event went live a little bit earlier, and I don't know if that's to do with like time restrictions with the event, so it had to be running earlier. Either way, I thought we'd do like a first run through, check out some of the fight interactions, some of the good, the bad, and the ugly as well. I guess the advantage is that you've got this kind of like class advantage in that you could take certain champions in with an advantage to go in. Personally, I would like to take in a mystic champion and take the cosmic route. I just find that against cosmic champions do a lot of nullification. They can be quite overpowered, so that may be like a recommendation from me there. I just decided to bring in a plethora of different champions, as I wasn't really quite sure which route I wanted to actually take, and if do a constant class advantage. But I've got the likes of Beardo in, and obviously different types of classes of champions on that list, because obviously if you've got a high signature version and if you've got a certain person on your team, it can be beneficial. The same thing you could say with like having a very overly strong mutant team, and then you're going against the class advantage of the likes of the skill lot. So that could be an option there, and you're putting together really strong mutant synergy with the likes of Sabretooth, Omega Red, Old Man Logan, Domino. You know, the list goes on with kind of class advantage there. Obviously, Iceman I've got on the team as well. But I thought, you know, well, just get on one of these routes, check out the buffs, check out whether or not this deleter is any good, and whether or not this is actually a time-sensitive event. So I'm going to time this as well. Even though it goes against the cuff, I'm actually going to go down the skill route. I've checked out a few of them, and because it's got biohazard. Now, one thing as well, I don't know if any of these things change, like whether or not the enemy bosses change. And obviously, this is the instruction here about the deleter, the reroll and things. X-Gene, all champions classes, but mutant reduce their base stat. Yeah, so it's just basic stuff at the end of the day. And for me, like you can be quite sparing with the champions you use. When you go up against a skill route, there's stuff that seems better suited, like this champion, Iceman, obviously being Incinerate immune, being as well the fact it is a champion that is X-Gene. So look, okay, that's helpful. I think that's kind of good. But as well, looking back at some of the other things, I don't know if Darkhawk is going to be always, and I'm sure this is going to be randomized, but that could be a bit of a problem. So champions to go up against is the fact it's got masochism. Not great, but as I said, this is meant to be a timely affair. I'm going to cut the video up, obviously, but I want to just make sure, like, you know, time-sensitive stuff, how long this is actually taking me. So I'm going to let you know as I go through. Obviously, with Limber, that's not too great. It looks like, as well, that this isn't too difficult on the point of, like, look, it's not Act 7, is it? It's not the fact that you're kind of eating huge amounts of damage numbers through your block, which was the biggest problem of Act 7. So hopefully, and as well, I can like just chill out a little bit, so I don't have to rush around the fact that I'm going to get some kind of incinerate on me. I kind of feel that if I'm going class advantage, then maybe it would have been good with Limber. Yeah, okay, Archangel would have been a nice kind of like addition to there, but the fact is, this still will work out. Getting that trial by fire is a bit frustrating, because I was thinking like, well, do I put Corvus in? Do I not? And let's have a look here. I might put Corvus in. It depends how aggressive I want to play, but maybe just check it out. Gotta be honest, guys, I haven't really enjoyed these what Modok Labs or Modok whatever it is. It's just not enjoyable content for me. I'm trying to really enjoy it at the moment, but I'm just not. I've got to be honest. I'm just not at all. Okay, so my thoughts on Modok Labs, now that I've done it, is that I'm in a really kind of weird situation with it, because I didn't enjoy it and I don't particularly want to do it again, especially with the kind of trollish nature of some of the randomizers. One thing that I was worrying about is the extent of like re-rolling. I used, I think, 6 randomizers, which I had from a previous event. I had like 8 randomizers from a previous event. And when I was re-rolling, especially on that Darkhawk fight, and Darkhawk's not a nice fight to go up against from a defender point of view, but it's absolutely fine if there's not extensive nodes on it or painful buffs on it, so to speak. Either way, the problem that I had was I had Masochism and Power Flood. I re-rolled 3 times, and on those 3 times, I got Power Flood twice, and I also got Masochism twice as well. And that was the thing that was kind of like frustrating. Now here's the difficult situation, maybe for me, but I know a lot of players will experience this when it comes to the coins. Now, if you're doing something like Modok Island and say it doesn't go too well, you're spending a lot on rerolls, and as well you're spending your coins on trying to get through the delete some of the buffs, then it's going to be a very costly affair. And if you don't like the Modok Islands, then unless you do the contracts, which again we haven't at this point of this video being released, we don't know the extent of what you get, you could be stuck. You might have to do it in order to get the coins, then obviously buy the stuff in the store. So that's a bit of a problem there for the grind of this event. You're in some ways forced to do this event in order to buy stuff in the store. Now what I thought I'd do is I'd take to the forums and have a look what players are saying. And it seems to be the case, as I said at the start of the video, that taking certain class advantage champions, especially going up, say, the cosmic route with the likes of Dr. Doom, could be incredibly helpful. But the fact is, that's one size fits all, and it's a case that not everybody has one size fits all. Not everybody's going to have Dr. Doom. Not everybody's going to have certain champions to make it completely easy. I will be doing that in the future, but obviously because Dr. Doom is a integral part of my my grind in an AQ map 6 and as well Alliance Wars format, I can't use it in this confine. So again, I'm using something that was a tester team, which again I didn't enjoy, and could be a case from, especially from what I've read here, that a lot of players feel very strongly about the extent of the rewards not being in place, and as well the build of Modok Islands. Especially if you look at like more of this, and I think when I was doing the Marvel Contest Champions news, I didn't scroll down as far as say down here when it comes to like what the Cavalier edition for the gold coin spend is. And like when I just saw this a moment ago, I'm like, Jesus Christ, this isn't great. But as well, like the fact of going, right, well, do I want to grind out and grab the coins in order to grab some of the stuff that I'm seeing here? So I thought to myself, like, how many times do I actually have to do this in order to pick up that 5-star awakening gem? And obviously you can see that 17 times basically, 16 obviously the leftover, let's just say 17 times, 16 more times than obviously what I've done in this video to grab this. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, I think I might just do something else for the month. I could do without a 5-star awakening gem. There's some stuff that I like here that's going to be beneficial for improvement. I need gold, if anything. That's where I'm at the moment. There's nothing when it comes to crystal shards except for obviously doing the Modok event itself. And let's face it, if I do consistently each day, then I'm not going to get a huge amount of 5-star shards and 6-star shards. It's hardly going to make any kind of a dent for the amount of work I'll have to put in. Not to say that this is a cheap side event. It's just a case of like, it wasn't an event I enjoyed as a Sinister Labs. It's not something I enjoyed as Modok Labs. And the randomizers can be the greatest, but also they can be absolutely scuffed and unhelpful. And especially with having to buy that deleter, which does cost and then limits down the spend, it kind of makes it just like, just can't really be bothered with it. I'd rather do a bit of Act 6. So that's saying something. Obviously, for a duty of care, I will be continue on to grind this for a little while, and as well kind of cultivate some ideas of guides, find some best champions, best synergy creations in order to make this a little bit more tolerable. But also at the same time, that's very much a case of creating an incredibly diverse, maybe one class specific roster for this, or team for this. But that's something obviously I need to kind of like factor in and look into a little bit more. I don't want the answer to be just use Dr. Doom on the cosmic path. And obviously, as I said, I brought in the wrong team to kind of get an idea of, well, maybe what other people would experience, but maybe that's the case of bringing in lower 5 stars, rank 4 5 stars, and as well 4 stars in the future, especially for this. To be honest, I find a lot of people will actually not be so tolerant of this type of event, especially if the payoff isn't as great for it. But we'll have to see how things could be changed with this. I don't know. That's just speculating on something that we covered in Marvel Contest Champions news. Wickerman Mike said that he'll bring it to the game team and see what they say on the matter. But yeah, what are you guys' thoughts on these Modok Islands? Like I said, it's one of these things where I feel like I want to give it a miss and I'll focus on something else, but I will be doing some kind of like side event, side quest videos, including just a coverage of this, and maybe other ways that we could gather the amount of coins without actually having to do quite so much. And obviously, yes, it would limit how many coins you could pick up, but at the same time, obviously, that's something of an option that players might have to resolve to, as you know, you've got to have fun with this game. And if it's the case, this event here isn't fun, either from a payoff perspective or from a grind perspective, then obviously work has to be done from Kabam on the matter. In any case, there we go. That has been the video. As I said, thoughts in the comments section. I've waffled on a bit too much. This is probably a longer video than I wanted. But in any case, check out some recent content here. I'll try and make some lower time frame videos soon. But obviously, there's lots to kind of digest with this event. And lots more content to come out this evening. So check it out. Look out for it. And see you in the next one. Bye-bye for now.